Hey everyone, happy Halloween. Today I'm just going to read the news so you don't have to do it yourself. Let's start with the morning brew. Thanks to everyone who submitted their costumes for our contest. I feel like seeing some of you rock a Bud Lightyear outfit in your living room really took our relationship to the next level. So we're going to get to see some costumes. All right, so year to date, the Nasdaq is down 29.04%. The S&P is down 18. The Dow is down 9.5. The what is this? The 10-year Treasury fund rate is up 250 basis points, which basically means 2.5% to 4.016%. Bitcoin is down 55%. Facebook is down 70%. That's rough. Are we living through the dot-com bust 2.0? Some analysts are beginning to compare this year's tech rout, which has cost the Nasdaq 8 trillion in value so far, with the bursting of the dot-com bubble in 2000 through 2002, when the Nasdaq lost the equivalent of 8.6 trillion in today's dollars. The industrial-focused Dow, on the other hand, is on track for its best October in history. Wow. So overall, up to the end of the last full week of October, we're down 9.5%. But even with that being the case, October might be the best month of October in history for the Dow. That's very interesting. Affirmative action hangs in the balance. For more than 40 years, American universities have been allowed to factor in race when deciding which applicants to admit. That could end soon. The Supreme Court is hearing two separate cases today that challenge race based admission policies, aka affirmative action. At the University of North Carolina and Harvard, given the 6-3 stranglehold conservatives have on the Supreme Court, legal experts say affirmative action could be the next decades-old precedent to be reversed by the Supreme Court of the United States following Roe versus Wade. That precedent, oh my god, I'm going to say president every time, aren't I? In 1978, the Supreme Court of the United States ruled that race could be one of the several factors considered in admissions decisions, but banned the implementation of racial quotas. That decision was upheld in a different case in 2003. What are the arguments? The pro affirmative action camp, which includes universities and business groups, argues that diversity in higher education would decline in a race neutral admissions process due to ongoing discrimination against black and Hispanic students. Plus, there are centuries of racial harm that still need to be rectified, they say. UNC didn't admit black students until 1955. When those students arrived, they were forced to live in a separate dorm and walk through a campus that was full of memorials to segregationists. The anti-affirmative action camp contends that UNC and Harvard, oh, so University of North Carolina, I didn't know what the abbreviation was at first, and Harvard are violating, right? I did say that, right? Yeah, University of North Carolina. Uh, UNC and Harvard are violating civil right laws by treating people differently due to their race, specifically by discriminating against white and Asian American applicants. The group bringing both challenges before the Supreme Court of the United States is led by one man, Edward Bloom, who calls himself a one trick pony in his quest to end racial classifications in public policy. And what does the public think? It's a little murky because So much depends on how you frame the question. I completely agree with that, you know? In a 2021 Gallup poll, 62% of Americans supported affirmative action policies for racial minorities. In March of this year, however, a Pew survey found that 74% of Americans do not support factoring in race and ethnicity to college admissions, per the AP. The Supreme Court likely won't issue a ruling until late spring 2023. Halloween tragedy in South Korea. 153 people, mostly in their 20s, were killed in a crowd crush in Seoul's nightlife district Saturday night. As the city's first Halloween event with no COVID restrictions in years, it drew an estimated 100,000 revelers, and authorities are being questioned about the safety measures they had in place. It's one of South Korea's worst ever disasters. Russia pauses grain deal with Ukraine. Russia said it would stop participating in a UN brokered deal that allows Ukrainian grain to be shipped to world markets, accusing Kiev of a major drone attack on Crimea. Ukraine didn't publicly claim responsibility for the attack. U.S. officials bashed the move as weaponizing food supplies and said it would increase the risk of starvation around the world. The EU is urging Russia to change its mind. Twitter braces for layoffs. New owner Elon Musk has reportedly asked some managers to identify employees who could be cut, putting into action layoffs that have been rumored for a long time. Musk also tweeted and later deleted a link to an unfounded conspiracy theory about the attack on Paul Pelosi, written by a website that regularly publishes false news articles. Uh-oh. Um, that's not really that relevant. Let's stick to kind of United States and economy type stuff. The Fed is pretty much a lock. That doesn't sound right to me. The Fed is pretty much a lock to hike interest rates by a ginormous 75 basis points, which basically means 0.75, on Wednesday for the fourth straight meeting. Evidence that its inflation fighting campaign is working could come on Friday with the October jobs report, plus lots more earnings. It's about to get it's about to get dark really early. Daylight savings time ends at 2 a.m. Eastern Sunday. So while we'll get an extra hour of sleep that night, it also means watching the sunset from your desk at work for the next few months. Yeah, in Georgia, anyways, you'll start seeing the sun go down right before 6 o'clock, right? The Phillies and the Astros each took one game apiece in Houston, and the teams will play game three tonight in front of a frenzied and very wealthy crowd in Philly. I looked up the tickets, and the minimum to get in the door was 900. Here are all the freebies you can get today on Halloween. That could be interesting. You guys want to look at that? Um, dang. Well, you guys aren't going to be. I guess I could pull it up real quick. Hold on. See what kind of freebies we can get on Halloween. There it is. All right. So 7-Eleven is a buy one get one free deal on a large pizza. Applebee's. Free order of boneless wings with any purchase of 30 or more. Receive one entree item such as a burrito for $6. This all doesn't seem very good. Dang, we already missed two of these for Wendy's. Get a free junior bacon cheeseburger with any purchase. And everyone's doing this stuff just because it's Halloween. That's pretty cool. Score one free donut of your choice on October 31st at Krispy Kreme. Free scary face pancake for kids 12 and under with the purchase of an adult entree. Look at that, IHOP. All right, that was. I wish we wouldn't have done that. That was pretty lame. Oh wow, you can see that. Can you guys see that? Is that live? I'll probably have to go back in there and take that out. All right. Key performance indicators. James Cameron's sequel, 13 years in the making, Avatar: The Way of Water, will have a runtime of 3 hours and 10 minutes per The Hollywood Reporter. But if history is any indication, that won't scare people off. The number 2 and number 3 highest grossing movies in history, not adjusted for inflation, are Avengers Endgame and Cameron's Titanic, which both run longer than 3 hours. It's okay to get up and go pee, Cameron has said. I will never go back to Foxconn. They don't have humanity there. Holy moly, that is intense. Holy crap. A worker at the world's largest iPhone factory in China described to the FT, not sure what FT stands for, how he and other employees fled the complex over the weekend to escape draconian COVID policies. Videos on Chinese social media platforms appeared to show Foxconn employees hopping fences and walking along the road, fed up with the restrictions intended to curb the spread of the virus. Um, at least 132 people died when a pedestrian bridge collapsed in the Indian state of, can't pronounce that. Uh, Be careful out there today on Halloween. Cars kill more pedestrians on Halloween than any other day of the year. All right, let's look at some of these costume contests or costume pictures. Top Gun stroller fighter jet. That's pretty neat. Honorable mention is the Google Meets work from home at the office. Ha ha. That's it? Just two? You're slacking. All right. I'm gonna go back up to the top and just ramble real quick about how much I like doing the news on Monday, because the morning brew comes out every single day, but the Robin Hood snacks only comes out once a week. And the Monday edition of Morning Brew shows the markets year to date, but the Robinhood one shows last week's market move. So it's just like a nice comparison. So right here we got Bitcoin last week was up 7.5%, but for the year it's down 55%. Last week the Nasdaq overall over the whole week was up 2.24%. But down almost 30% for the year. The SP 500 up almost 4% last week and down 18% for the whole year. The Dow up 5.72% last week and then down the whole year at 9.57. But this saying the Dow might have the best October in its entirety, in its whole history, and last week it only did 5.75%. Another Halloween, another year of knockoff costumes, a few of our favorites, 10 from the show Unusual Events, Evil Midweek Cutie, Definitely no relation to Wednesday Adams, Fantastic Magician Boy. These seem to all be some sort of references that we are not in on. Stocks rallied to end a turbulent week marked by iffy tech earnings and improving economic data. The U.S. economy grew more than expected last quarter after shrinking, which we did that on our last stream. Officially, we are no longer in a recession because the third quarter of 2022 came back with a positive GDP of 2.6%. Pretty sure it was 2.6%. The S&P 500 gained 4% while the Dow surged nearly 6%, notching its fourth straight positive week. So yeah, potentially the best Dow October in history. Yesterday, Brazilian president, not even going to try and butcher his or her name, narrowly lost, oh, his name, narrowly lost his bid for a second term to, also not going to butcher the name. Sorry, guys. Thought I heard something. Generative AI is booming and it's revolutionizing the way people. One second. Sorry. All right. Hopefully I remember to go back and edit that part out too. All right. Generative AI is booming. We need to look up what generative AI even is. I don't even know what it is. And it's revolutionizing the way people make art and money. Oh, so it's just like that randomly generated uh, type stuff. I know what it is. Holy moly, can I come up with a good example for you guys? Nope, not gonna be able to do it. Sorry. Memes become Monet paintings. A new kind of AI is transforming the way people create art and do business. Generative AI uses deep learning and tons of data to convert text prompts into images, videos, and articles. We made the image above using Gen AI and a text prompt. Something to do with Dogecoin. We generated this image using the DALL-E and the prompt, an oil portrait of a Shiba Inu wearing a business suit holding an iPhone in the style of Claude Monat, maybe that's how you pronounce it. There's your example too, by the way. Main character, OpenAI, which has raised billions from Microsoft and others, launched the first major Gen AI tool, DALL-E, last year. It was released to the public last month, and Reddit's already filled with viral DALL-E creations. And you can check them out there. um, in the description below, there's going to be links to both Morning Brew and Robinhood if you guys want to not have to listen to me stumble over all the words and read it yourself. I'm skipping all that. That's I don't know. We kind of basically already read about the interest rates. We'll do it again. Dressed up as Jerome Powell. That's scary. Because interest rates are terrifying. To be the Fed chair, all you need are hiking clothes. America's central bank is expected to raise rates by a jumbo 75 basis points or 0.75 On Wednesday, the fourth straight bump of that size, soaring borrowing costs are spooking investors and raising recession red flags. Last week, mortgage rates topped 7% for the first time in 20 years, but economists polled by Reuters said that Fed shouldn't pause its hiking crusade till inflation drops to another half of its current level, a hot 8.2%. Winter's coming. While consumers are still feeling hashtag pump anxiety, oil giants are still pumping record profits. Last week, Exxon, Chevron, and Total demolished earnings with record results. Exxon took home a 20 billion profit. That's just in one quarter. 20 billion profit. That's not, it doesn't even say gross revenue, it says profit. Analysts expect Marathon Petroleum and ConocoPhillips to deliver strong results when they report this week. Global oil and gas supplies are still tight from the pandemic era output cuts and the war in Ukraine. Now, President Biden is urging big oil to boost production and cut buybacks ahead of winter. Stories we're still watching. Well, that was underwhelming. Tech stocks plunged last week after unsurprising third quarter earnings. Uninspiring. See, I don't even know where I come up with some of the stuff sometimes. Google sales growth slowed big time as ad spending sagged, while Meta's revenue dropped for a second straight quarter and profit plunged 52%. Woo! What really turned investors off? Weak forecasts. For this holiday quarter, Amazon expects sales to be up just 2 to 8% from last year, which is a major slowdown for them. As tech forecasts fall back to earth, investors are adjusting their expectations. Then again, lower expectations might mean less market disappointment and potentially tampering down inflation. Trick or treat. But retailers aren't spooked by candy inflation. Go-tos like Walmart, Costco, and Lowe's widened their spooky selections by about 20%. This year, Halloween spend is expected to hit a record 10.6 billion. Holy moly. With Americans paying on average of at least $100 for goodies like fun-sized candy bags, pumpkin plates, and wacky wigs. Home Depot sold out of its viral $200 life-size skeleton in one day. That's crazy. That's not the rich mentality way, guys. You could you could put that $200 into you could get almost one full share of Tesla right now for $200. Twelon. Elon Musk completed his Twitter purchase and then fired company execs, including the CEO, the CFO, top policy expert, and general counsel. The billionaire told advertisers the site wouldn't become a hellscape, though GM's already suspended its tweet ads. Hmm. No reason to go over last week's highlights because we talked about them last week. I guess just some general thoughts on what we've gone over would be um, the connection of um, AI and maybe that being a sector to look out for. Um, if you want to be a little bit more risky in your investments, uh, you know, AI is going to be on sale right now because of the recession. And once we're out of the recession and the market starts booming again, inflation is gone, expectations are looking good, AI could very well just be the next massive, just up in the markets. That's my really only takeaway. I mean, it's very broad, but I don't know. The news didn't seem that juicy today. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, hopefully you enjoyed me reading you the news rather than you having to read it yourself. And that's it. Have a happy Halloween.